Hello, here is a little bit of a breakdown video on my song Cascade, which I released on Halloween. It is also in my 5-song EP Cascades, which comes out on the 14th of December. I've seen some people do like album or song breakdowns like this, and I always think it's kind of cool. It's definitely not going to be like nearly as complex as some people's. Like, I watched this guy's tour. He's a hyperpop artist. He did a stream or two breaking down his album. Underscores has done the same stuff. It's like extremely complicated, production, and that's not what I do. But I still think it'd be interesting to see like how I did this. So anyway, I started with the solo guitar track right here, or actually I should say with these two tracks. Which I recorded with a Rode M3 condenser mic and the pickup of my guitar. So the way I did it is like I created two tracks, and I set both to record, and voila, I had one for the output for the microphone and then one for my guitar input. And anyway, on both of them, I have some compression from the supercharger plugin. It's fine. I need to really learn how to use compression and how to set up all the settings and stuff. But as of now, I just use like a preset and tweak it a little bit usually. It sounds good to my ears, and really I find that that's all that matters, at least for now. I'm just mostly just messing around. And then on the right, or I have the way I do it is I do the microphone, and I set that to the right ear, and then the one that I recorded with the pickup, I set to the left. And on the right, on this one, I have the vinyl plugin, which, adds that popping sound, which is actually kind of annoying right now. But it adds a little bit of that pop, which creates a little bit of noise, which I actually like sometimes. And then it also creates a nice like vinyl warble kind of thing, which sounds really nice to my ears, kind of like a light chorus effect. I am gonna turn the vinyl off, just so that way you don't have that popping sound. But anyway, I did turn the compressor off once I got to the strummy parts, because it kept clipping, which was not intentional. But then I turned it back on for the softer finger picking parts. And then there's a third track, which is the just a plain electric guitar. Went into guitar rig, and I have a compressor and then some chorus for some depth, and the first appearance of my favorite plugin. It's this Realm reverb. I don't use many plugins. I'm still very, very new to the whole thing. And I'd rather learn how to use Ableton stuff before I start spending money on plugins. And this one's free though. But I do really like this reverb. Has like 3 different types of reverb, and you can do all sorts of cool settings. Like all this. I have it very high reverb, long decay, and some modulation as well. And that's because this is just like a little bit of atmosphere, and then EQ. I forgot to say I have the compressor, and then I have the Ozone 11 EQ on everything, pretty much. And I usually go for additive EQ rather than like getting rid of stuff, just because I don't have the best microphones or a microphone. And just in general, I don't have the best recording setup. And so like removing stuff tends to make it sound even worse rather than helping it. Because it makes it sound a little bit thinner. But anyway, I do have some automation on the freeze effect from the reverb, just to create a little bit of a wash of reverb. All right. So yeah, it creates that like nice washy sound after each chord. But then the last one, I actually kept the freeze on until it got to the strummy part. Well, more of the strummy part. Oh no, the end of the strummy part. Sorry. But anyway, I kept it on to just add that like backdrop, like a Cascade, washy, reverb kind of thing. And then also in that part, I actually did a little bit of side chaining to the electric guitar, so it would duck out a little bit. A little bit of like a ducking, just because I liked that. And then also, I turned it off intending to talk about it earlier, but then I didn't. I have 2 return tracks for the reverb, using the same round plugin, probably with roughly the same settings. Oh yeah, a little bit different. And if you see, I send the first reverb, the A, or I send the right track to the first reverb, which itself is set to the left ear. So you're hearing the reverb from the right in your left ear instead of the right ear, if that makes sense. And I do the same thing for the other one, just, vice versa. And then the next track is the mandolin harp, which it's a vintage Hawaiian mandolin harp that I got for like $50. Sounds pretty nice, actually. By itself, it sounds okay. The reverb is nice. You see, I did a little bit of changes to like the standard reverb, but either way, and the medium hall is like kind of my favorite that I've found so far, and then has some EQ. I completely got rid of any of the lows because it's not a high-pitched instrument. I don't really need the lows, and that gets rid of any like rumble or sub bass sounds that I can't hear. AC, there's a like electrical machine right outside, or electrical box right outside my window, makes noise all the time. So just to clean it up a little bit. And then I also used oh wait, for this one I didn't, I guess. I thought I used a different type of compression on it, but I did not. And that one I have set for like half left and half right, just to fill up the space, the audio space a little bit more, and to not clutter up the guitar, so you can still hear the guitar part clearly. And also I faded that in, and I just duplicated the same part over and over again until the last bit over here. That is a different, like actual different part, so I couldn't just duplicate it. And I raised the volume a little bit with each duplication, just to make it sound more like it's like fading in, and becoming a little bit louder as it comes in. And then the last track is just an ambient effect that I added to this, which is I took a handpan drum which I have, which is tuned to like C major or something like that, and I set up my microphone and I just like tap my fingers around it, making a sort of, I guess, ASMR rain sound. And I like actually processed it as like a sample, and used bits and pieces of it, and I think in almost every song on the EP. Just add a little bit of a through line, I guess. Overall, there is very much a through line of like water, rain, stuff like that. Again, it comes out on December 14th. It's just, little shameless plug. But anyway, I have an auto filter on it to kind of remove some of the highs, because I didn't want it to sound too much like an instrument. I wanted it to sound a little bit more like rain. And I also pitched it up to match the key of the song. And this is the one that I did a snare, preset compression on it to make it a little bit more punchy. And I did change the auto filter a little bit towards another part, but it's mostly the same. And I have it so it's pretty quiet. Just adds a little bit of a background sound. And then we're almost done with the song. The last thing is the master track. In that, I just do a bit of EQ. Whoa, I really removed a lot of bass on this one. That's probably something I would actually change if I were to release this again. But we can't always be like 100% happy with our creations, right? This one I went ahead and had a wide stereo. This is actually pretty much my standard like setup as far as effects and plugins and stuff go. Ozone 11 and then wide stereo. This one I put a little bit wider than I usually do. Usually I just do like 100%. Just sounds a little bit better. Because it can start sounding a little bit too unnatural when you get into like the higher width. And then the multi-band and limiter. I don't always use this, but in this case I did. And then upper ceiling, which is just like a limiter, which I use for mastering essentially, because I record a lot quieter than I need to most of the time. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions about this, let me know in the comment section. Let me know if you liked this. Yeah, peace. Again, check out the EP when it comes out. There's going to be a pre-save, or there should be a pre-save. It comes out on December 14th. I'd really appreciate it if you checked it out. And you can stream Cascade right now, the song, which is what I showed you. But yeah, thanks for watching.